रागाधिरोगान् सततानुशक्तान् अशेषकाय प्रसृतान् अशेषान् औत्सुक्यमोह अरदितान् जखान यो अपूर्ववैद्याय नमोस्तु तस्मै. Namaste.
So therefore, it was an umpire review. Williamson didn't have to review, and he doesn't have to review.
The most wonderful subject nowadays the people are looking for. I'm Dr. Manoj Chandrasekharan, and let me thank the famous organization.
Manoj, your voice little more.
So let me thank the organization Sajiva for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be here with you all and to give or to discuss some of the major points now we are facing in our present day life. So as the prayer says, what is the reason we all are here today? To know more about how we can be a more healthy person or live our life fully and enjoy our life. That is the basic concept of Ayurveda. Ayurveda starts with this prayer which says that let me live my life fully and enjoy my life as much as I can. This is the basic concept of Ayurveda. So when we say enjoy our life, what it means? Is it some physical enjoyment or mental enjoyment? It is not only on one particular aspect. See, Ayurveda is a science which talks or which sees a human being as a whole. So physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, all these aspects has to be included in a complete health science. So Ayurveda is a science which talks about the holistic approach of a human being. So here we are going to see how a person can enjoy his life or live his life to the fullest. Can we go to the slide share, please? So why we choose Ayurveda, or what is the purpose of Ayurveda? That's the most important thing. Before we learn something, that understand what for I learned that science. That's very important. Before you study any subject, you may choose physics or chemistry or whatever it is. The first thing to know is why should I learn that science? Why I should apply this science in our day-to-day life? All the sciences are meant for making our life more easy and more comfortable, right? So let us see about what Ayurveda says about this aspect. Why Ayurveda? So the first thing we have to understand is to achieve our Purusharthas. Purushartham, this word you might have heard, it is the four-folded pursuits of a human being. The first and foremost is righteous action in the righteous time. That's called dharma. So what it meant for, see, everyone in our universe or anything, it can be living or non-living being, there is some dharma for it. Everything in this nature is based on this principle of dharma. If we go away from our dharma or swadharma, we will be in a problem, or we will become a diseased person or an unhappy person or an unhealthy person. I can make it clear with a simple example. The function or the dharma of your eye is to see, correct? So if tomorrow your eye is affected with some bacteria and your eye is not able to do its dharma, that means vision, to see, what you will say? I am suffering, I am not feeling well, or my eye is not feeling well. We say asukha. Asukha means you are not happy, you are not in a state of well-being. Asukha. Then you go to a doctor, he may give you some medicines and you use it. After a few days, the eye will come back to its natural dharma, or it starts seeing things properly. Then you say that I am okay, I am happy, I am sukha, I achieved the state of sukha. So sukha and asukha is based on how we perform. If I am able to do my dharma properly, I will be in a state of health and happiness. If I am not able to do my dharma, then I will be in asukha. This is very, very important principle in Ayurveda. So to be a happy person or a healthy person, we must perform our dharma. This is not only for human beings, everything in the nature is based on the principle of dharma. The second thing we say, that the second part of the pursuit is artham, acquiring wealth. When you say wealth, it is not only the physical wealth in the form of a car or in the form of a good house or in the form of a bank balance. Apart from that, what all we achieve in our life, it can be in the form of the social connections, or it can be in the form of knowledge. It can be anything. That is all coming under the aspect of artham, what all we are earning. Third comes karma. See, we are here to enjoy our life. We don't know how long we are going to live, but as long as we live, we must enjoy our life. How we can enjoy our life in a proper way? This is very, very much important. So the enjoyment aspect. And the fourth aspect is called moksham. What is moksham? That also is a form of enjoyment. So if we are too much attached to something, then we cannot enjoy our life. If somebody, we say that person is a workaholic. He feels that he is getting his enjoyment by doing his work in that way. But actually he is enjoying or not. You have to, that depends on person to person. But still, if you is too much attached to anything, if you are attached to anything or too much, that is called sangam.
I would request all the participants to go on mute. We can't hear what Manoj is saying.
Learn to detach ourselves. This is the most important thing, moksham. So to all these four aspects of life, we have to listen what Ayurveda says, or we have to follow the principles of Ayurveda. This is why we have to learn Ayurveda. Is that clear? I hope this makes the sense to learn. Why we learn? This is very important. Why we learn Ayurveda? Why we practice Ayurveda? What is the basic necessity to learn and to practice Ayurveda in our daily life? Okay, we'll go to our next slide, please. So I'm just giving you an introduction into Ayurveda. What Ayurveda means? Ayus means life, and Veda means the knowledge. So it's the science of our life, or Ayus. So what is Ayus? How we have to live that Ayu in a full way? That all comes under this subject of Ayurveda. It is not only a science to deal with certain diseases, or it is not only a science to deal with some problems of our life. First and foremost, Ayurveda has an objective of swastha vrata. That means how to maintain the health of a healthy person. How can we live our life fullest in a healthy way? What all parameters we have to check? What all we have to follow to achieve that state of life? That is very important, because each individual is unique. We must learn about my individuality. Everyone should learn about our own individuality. That is called prakriti, that we will see in this subject. How I can understand about my prakriti and how I can live according to that. Not everything is good for everyone. When you go to into internet and check for nutritional food, you can see n number of things. Whether all these things are good for me. If it is not good for me, if my body is not capable of digesting it, if I am not able to assimilate it, it is the worst poison as per Ayurveda. We call it ama, the metabolic toxins. So that is very important to understand about swastha vrata. What shall I do to maintain my health? The second part of Ayurveda is vyadhi pramoksha. That means the treatment for the diseases. How I can keep my body healthy, and whatever I do, what all precautions I take due to some reasons, due to the age factors or due to the climatic changes, so many factors, stress factors, my body sometimes will become sick. And when I get that sickness, how can I come out from it as early as possible in a healthy way? And how I can rejuvenate myself or regain my health? That also comes under the category or the objective of Ayurveda called this Vyadhi promotion. Okay, so we'll go to our next topic. So the basic, every science got their own principles. And Ayurveda is based on a basic principle of Pancha Mahabhuta Siddhanta. What is Pancha Mahabhuta? We all know it is the 5 elements or 5 states of matter. In that way, we can say that everything in the nature is nothing but the manifestation of energy, as we know. So the manifestations might have been happened millions of years ago, and it became 5 that the manifestation principles. It's a big subject. We cannot go into that way, into that in depth. But we will go the Pancha Mahabhuta Siddhanta, the 5 element theory. So everything when you observe in nature is made of these 5 elements. We know it is the solid state, we call it the earth, the liquid state, that is water. Then comes the conversion energy, which is responsible for all the changes, that is called fire or Agni. Then the Vayu, you can say the gaseous state, and also the space, the area or the space where everything exists. So these 5 things are there in every living and non-living organisms. So let us see how it works in our body. So when you analyze each and every part of our body, you can see that either one is predominantly present. All the 5 elements are there everywhere. And as we know, about 60 to 70% of our body is made of water. Or we will say kapha. The body is made of kapha. Kapha is nothing but water and earth element. So the water and earth element combine to form the principle of the basic 3 forces, the Vada in Ayurveda. We call it Vada. Instead of saying the combination of earth and water, we call it earth. Vada is a combination of air and space. So the air and space element. So the air and space element combine to form Vata. We are talking about Kapha, by which our body is made of. Kapha is a combination of earth and water. As we know, the body is made of the water and solid part. So 60 to 70%, we call it the body structure is made of Kapha. Then comes Pitta. Pitta is nothing but the metabolic force or metabolic energy, which is responsible for all the changes, the fire element, all the chemicals in our body. All the chemical changes happens inside our body. The food we eat get digested, assimilated, taken to the cells and the cellular metabolism and the conversion of toxins. Everything is coming is due to the action of Pitta in our body. It's an energy responsible for that. Then comes Vata. Vata is an element which is formed out of space and air element. By the way, Pitta is made of fire element and water element. So you may have a doubt that how the fire and water exist together. How is it possible? And we know in our body it is existing in the form of acids. Acids, in Ayurveda, we call it the liquid fire. So all the hormones and enzymes and all these things comes under the category of Pitta. Fine. So we'll go to the 3 dosha here. There is the 3 forces theory by which the whole body is made. It's a structural and functional basic unit of body. This 3 dosha. All the living beings have these 3 forces in us. Then comes the Rasa, Guna, Virya, Vibhaka and Prabhava theory. This is one of the excellent theory by which, if we understand it properly, we can handle any type of food. See, the food we eat, actually it's all our body and mind, everything is originating from food only. So when you put something in your mouth, the first thing you realize is the rasa, its taste. Immediately your sense organ will recognize it and send a message to your brain. This, yeah, the sweet is coming, Immediately the brain recognizes it and send a message back to the intestines and the other digestive organs to say that be ready, the food is coming, the sweet taste is coming, so get ready to digest it. So like that, every taste in our food or what we eat will be recognized in the mouth itself first, and it will get ready, or it will make you ready to digest it. That's the first part of Ayurveda when we talk about any object we eat. Then comes guna. So every food, everything what we eat are either of some gunas. There are 20 types of gunas we mentioned. Either it will be dry, it makes your body dry, it makes you oily, or it makes you, snigdha, that is slimy. There are so many gunas like that. 20 types of gunas are mentioned. It makes you heavy, like that. It makes you light. There are different types of gunas like that. 20 types it's mentioned. So one of this guna will be there for the food we eat, predominantly present. So our body will recognize it and it will take necessary steps to digest it. Then comes virya, either ushna or shita. Everything in nature has these two qualities. We call virya. Either it makes your body hot or it will make your body cool. So that is the next part of the food. Then the food which eaten by you goes to your stomach. There it will mix with your digestive fire and it undergoes some changes, the chemical changes. And that after that, what happens is called vipaka. The food acts based on its vipaka. Then after digestion, it goes absorbed to your body, that nutrients, and it goes to your cells. And inside the cells, it has certain functions. There will be some specific functions for each food we eat or each material we intake. That is called the prabhava. So the specific action. So in all these ways, food can make changes in our body. So we are talking about the 5 basic principles or elements by which the universe is made of. Our body is also a part of these 5 great elements, and it is in our body to make it easy to understand and study. We call it in the Dosha theory. And our body is made of nothing but the food. It is developing from the 5 elements. And with that, our body take birth and it exists. And at last, it becomes the food of something. So this is very, very important principle in Ayurveda. Let's go to the next slide, please. So I have explained it already, the 5 elements, how it became the Vata, the Pitta and Kapha. We'll go to the next slide. So in this is very, very important to understand why we have to learn these 3 principles very clearly to understand is based on this only we are classifying people, or we can classify everything in our body and around us. So the Vata, these are some of the basic things I am talking about. Vata, which is responsible for all the movements and sensations, including motor and sensory functions. So this is very, very, any movement, you see, anything which happens in your body, any movements which happens in your body is due to the action of Vata. The Pitta is responsible for all physiochemical activities in the body, in the form of metabolism, heat and energy. Everything is connected to Pitta. Kapha is the substance which maintains the compactness in the body and providing the fluid matrix. So this is very important, which I already explained. Kapha is the structural energy or structural force which is responsible for our existence and maintenance and our life. So these 3 forces are existing in our body, and with the help of these forces, the food we eat makes the system working. This is what very, very important to understand. We'll go to the next slide. So here comes the most important thing in Ayurveda, which is very, very practically useful for us. Up to this, we are talking only about some basic principles. Maybe out of curiosity for understanding about the Ayurvedic principles, I have told this. From here onwards, we are talking to the practical importance of these things. So Prakriti, you might have heard this, Prakriti and Vikruti. Some people may be knowing it, some people may not. So to make it clear, I will say it again. The constitution, each and everything in the nature has its own constitution. So this is very, very much important. At the time, a woman and man combine or they go for a child. As we know, there will be millions of sperms. And out of so many ovarian follicles, one particular ovum is developing in that particular month, in that particular woman. So what type of ovum is developing? What is the genotype of or genetic constitution of that particular ovum? And what out of the millions of sperms, all the sperms will be having some different characteristics. Which one is combining at that particular time of fusing, at that particular time of the sexual union? That is very, very clear. It is very, very important. That is why in Ayurveda, sex is divine. We call it one of the, divine union. So when that happens, so developing a new progeny is one of the most auspicious thing or a divine thing. We must be prepared for it. So in Ayurveda, there are 16 samskaras through which we have to go in our human life. So this is very important that at the time of fusing of a particular sperm with a particular ovum, what type of prakriti that ovum and that sperm having, or what is the ratio of this doshas or energy levels of that particular sperm and particular ovum, that decide what type of progeny or child is going to born. At the time of fusing itself, it is decided. Till we die, it will remain the same. So this is very, very important. The prakriti will never ever change in our lifespan. From the time of union of the sperm and ovum till we die, the dosha balance or dosha ratio will remain the same, depending on the dosha state of the sperm and also the ovum. Nowadays, so many, 2-3 years ago, there was a Nobel Prize was given to genotype, that classification. This is very, very important, and modern science is somewhat coming closer to this aspect of Ayurveda. That means now if you go to any hospital or any doctor, if you have a fever, maybe 4 or 5 people go to a doctor with a fever. The doctor give you somewhat the same type of medicine, but not an Ayurvedic doctor. A modern doctor will do the same protocol, but an Ayurveda doctor will never do. He will look into your prakriti and analyze about your agni and about your ama level, and based on that, he will give you different medicine. Mostly, that medicines will be different, or some difference will be there based on the prakriti. So this is very, very important. It is not only for diseases. For every aspect of our life, we must learn or we must understand about my prakriti. Everyone has to understand about our own individual genotype. We call it prakriti. Based on that, if you choose your food, if you choose your lifestyle, if you choose your exercise, if you choose your profession, everything you can choose based on this. Even the prayers you can choose. The asana, everyone will go to a yoga center and they will teach you some yogas. But in my understanding, in my experience, that is not correct. Because every individual is different. There may be some common asanas everyone can do. I do agree. But when you go to specifically, we will say specific is terrific, right? So specifically, if we approach each and every individual in their food habits, in their lifestyle, everything in their life, even the sexual habits, the sleep pattern, everything, it is depending on this prakriti. If we understand that, you can, make a good family also. If you know my prakriti, say for example, I am Pitta by nature, and I am sexually very active person. That is, I love sex. That is my nature. So if I get a partner who is not interested in that aspect at all, then definitely the problems will develop in my family life. So that is quite natural. So I must learn how I can, adjust with this. As we know, the life is full of adjustments. That I do agree. But to a certain extent, if I know my prakriti, if I choose based on that, it will be much better. It is about my profession, my job. See, I love my profession. If I am not loving my profession, then what happens? The people who comes to me for consultation, of course, it's my family tradition. But apart from that, if I'm not enjoying my profession, it will become a job for me. It will become a job for me. I'm not enjoying my life. I'm not enjoying my profession. So if I am passionate about myself and my profession, if I choose it before itself based on my prakriti, I cannot do certain things, I'm not a person who can do some physically hard work. That sort of things I cannot do because my body is very heaty by nature. If I expose myself to that type of life, if I didn't sleep properly at night, my body heat will increase and I go mad. I'll become very angry. I'll be very anxious. That sort of anxiety problems are developed in me. That I know. If I know that, I can choose what type of food I have to take, what type of exercise I have to do, or what type of relaxation techniques I can do, what type of mantra I can choose. So this is very, very important about prakriti. And this will not change throughout my lifespan. From the time I born till I die, it will remain the same. This is the most important aspect I would like to discuss with you. I would like to, educate you about the Ayurvedic way of life. Genotype is the modern science is coming close, as I told you. So there is some genetic predisposition test and all is coming now. I heard recently from some of my friends that another doctor is telling me this type of test is coming and it is very useful for understanding your diseases in much early stages. So it is very, very important. But here with this predisposition, if you know about my prakriti in a proper way, then it will be easy for me to enjoy my life. Next, about the Vikriti. As I told you, the Prakriti will not change throughout our lifespan. But Vikriti, what is Vikriti? If the ratio is getting imbalanced due to some reasons, how much I take care of my food habits, anything, everything I live according to the Prakriti, but still the Vikriti can develop in our body due to many reasons happening around me. You suppose, my nature, I get very, sad if I see some sad things or if I hear about some sad things. So if I hear it, I cannot completely deny it. It is naturally happening, or the climatic change is happening around me, or, some sort of external things are happening. So that sort of things changes my Vikriti, my dosha balance in my body. So that stage in which the body, the dosha balance is getting disturbed, that is the time we call it, the Vikriti is happening in the body. The Prakriti is going into Vikriti. It is getting disturbed. So disturbed state of dosha is called Vikriti. That doesn't mean that you are having some diseases. Maybe if you didn't take care of this Vikriti, or if you didn't understand this state of Vikriti, your body may go into the next levels of diseases. It is the beginning, we can say. So if we understand in this time, it will be easy for us to check it properly. So we can do some, treatments or food or lifestyle changes so that the Vikriti can bring back to Prakriti again. So this is the importance of studying about Prakriti and Vikriti in our daily life. Everything we can balance based on it. And if we are able to do it, we can live our life fullest. We can be a superman, superhuman. You can live your life to the fullest. Ayurveda says, Shatra Varsho Purushaha. An average lifespan or the full lifespan of a human being is 100 years, it says. But our lifespan, as we know, is when we about 40 years ago, it was about 48 or 50 of an average Indian. Now it is due to the modern, therapies and modern medical advancement. The lifespan is increased. Does it mean that our health is increased, or our the time of death is extended? This is a question. Are we living our life with that energy? The answer is no, many times. Yes, of course, due to the modern, modern medical advancements, so many of our can save our life when in the case of, especially during an infectious disease, and even with some metabolic diseases also. But after that, are we living in the same way like before, or in our local language, Malayalam, they say that we are living like a dead man. You can see that many people are living like that. Many people I am getting, the patients coming here, they are eating more than 20 to 30 tablets a day and living with the medicines, not with the food. So if you are living like that, are we really enjoying our life? Are we living our life to a full extent? If the answer is no, then you must learn about this. This is the most important thing to understand about everyone. If you know this, definitely you can choose your medicines also. You can choose your food also. Based on that, we have to continue with our life. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, we can discuss in the last part of the meeting. We'll go to the next slide, please. So the progeny, I already explained, the psychosomatic constitution, the unique concept in Ayurveda, categorize people into different subgroups based on the phenotype, characteristic, appearance, temperament, habit, so many things, so many parameters are there to check our prakriti. So it helps us to telling how to live our daily life, avoiding general health problems, useful in predicting an individual's susceptibility to a particular disease, prognosis of that illness, and the selection of therapy. Everything we can choose based on this, the exercises, the food habits, nutrition, everything we can choose based on this prakriti. Can we go to the next slide, please? So Vikriti is a state of imbalance that also we have explained, can lead to disease over a period of time if not corrected in the proper time. We'll go to the next slide, please. So the uniqueness. So as I told, it's a very basic principle of Ayurveda, the constitution of mind and body. Every individual has different physical, psychological, and physiological and psychological functions. Maintenance of health, prevention of disease, achieving longevity and treatment depends on its fundamental theory of understanding human being. We'll go to the next slide. See, this is very, very important. Again, this is a very practical thing which we have to understand. So the nature of sperm and ovum at the time of conception, how it will be. See, a man who is always in a stressful life, say for example, he is into a traveling job or he is into a stressful life type of job. When he comes home, how his energy level will be? When he meets with his wife, is he able to do a proper sexual life? Do you think? So if he goes to a sexual relationship with that tired feeling and all, how his the sperm energy will be? So whether it will be healthy? Many of the times you can see that this affects even in the fertilization. As we know, the infertility rate is increasing very much. The number of hospitals and infertility clinics are increasing. Does it mean that our health is increasing or diseases are increasing? The answer is not the health. Definitely the diseases are increasing. The infertility cases are increasing. So what is the solution? We must learn how to live. We must learn how to have a good sex. So this is very important. Ayurveda says about the Garbhadana Samskara. That's the first thing. How to get conceived in a proper way. Garbhadanam. So this is very important. And the word Maithunam is very, very important word. What is Maithunam means? It is a churning process. Like we churn the milk to get the butter out of it. We are churning our system, all our tissues and organs to get the best out of us, to get a new progeny. So your children is the replica of your system. So if your system is weak, your next generation will be weak. Definitely that affects our society and our nation. So it is very important in the national building. So this is very important because every individual has to work to develop in our nation in a proper way. So this is the basic thing that we have to understand. Nature of the condition inside the uterus. Yes. When we start learning medical science, I have never heard about or very hardly heard about PCOD. It's a condition, polycystic ovarian syndrome or disease or disorder. Nowadays, every 1 out of 3 girls in the fertility age having this problem. Why? Definitely, we know that it is a lifestyle problem and stress-related problem. So what is the solution? We must learn, Then the food and other regimens adopted by mother during pregnancy, that is also very important. In Ayurveda, very specifically say what type of food a pregnant woman has to take and what type of dress. So many things are mentioned. What type of dress, what type of activities they have to do. In my college days, in the Kilpoke Medical College, there was a study about the irritability of a child. And it says that the pregnant ladies who watch the television serials those days, that type of serials, definitely the child, most of them having a problem with the irritable nature of the children. Why? During that conception period, when you see something good, happy hormones will be secreting. If you are seeing something dreadly things or something which is making the stress hormones increasing, definitely it affects the development of the child, the brain development and the system development of the child. No doubt about it, and it will reflect. So like that, everything in our life, we have to learn from the Prakriti and also how to live in a healthy manner. Then, nature of 5 elements comprising the fetus that we already discussed about the dosha predominance. When we say the 5 elements in our body system, we call it in the name of dosha, the basic energy. At the time of union of sperm and our predominance of 5 elements, that means the predominance of doshas determines the constitution of an individual. So this is very, very clear. So a stressful man or a man is stressed, definitely the vata will be predominant. So that affects definitely the development of the sperm and also the time of fertilization. Okay, we'll go to our next slide, please. Another most important thing, everybody is talking now is about immunity. What is immunity? I have got very clear answer for it. The first part of the immunity, of course, is to prevent a disease. How can our body capable of preventing any disease? So we have a very strong immune system between 2 skin. Our body is between 2 skin. Can you understand what I say? The first skin is the external skin, which protects from all the microorganisms coming in. The second skin is the skin inside from my mouth to the anus. There is a mucus layer or mucus, barrier. So your life is between this skin and this skin, between these 2 skins. Okay, if that immune system, if the skin, that is why we say by seeing your skin, you can determine the immunity. In Ayurveda, it is very, very clear. Very much given importance to analyze the skin. So if your skin is having some unhealth, or if it is not proper, then definitely you can say, you can visualize that that person is having some immunity problem. So to prevent the disease, we have to strengthen both the skins. You know what protects our skin? It is the love. The love protects the skin. What it means? What is love? Love is nothing but sneham, the oil. Actually, it's a beautiful word, Sneham means love. The love is something which protects you, which covers you. So if you are not in love, at least today, you must start loving your people around, because that gives you a barrier, that gives you the strength to protect yourself. So sneham is the oil on our skin. If that oil is not there, if you use too much of alkaline things to rub the oil from your body, definitely your skin will go weak. And also there is an internal oil, the mucus. It's also part of kapha, or we call it an oil. So that protects your internal skin, internal body. So it is very, very important how to improve the immunity power of our system. Not only that, inside our body there are so many cellular metabolisms, cellular immunity, so many things are there. How we can activate. Ayurveda have a very, very specific methodology to activate your immune system. Then the second part of the immunity as per Ayurveda is to overcome from a disease. How fast you overcome that problem. That also is a part of immunity. First is to prevent a disease which is coming inside from outside. And second is how you can overcome a disease even if it happened to your body. These two things are called immunity as per Ayurveda. So there are two different types of immunity, in Ayurveda, which is mentioned maybe 2,500, 3,000 years ago. Our texts have mentioned about these many types of immunity. Nowadays, you can see that the acquired immunity, the inherited immunity, like the classifications are there. Similarly, very similarly, you can see here Sahaja, that is genetically inherited. Kalaja, seasonally happening due to our age. As we know, the children are more prone for any type of infections. And in Ayurveda, we call it as Graha Doshas or Graha Bada for infectious conditions. So the children are very, and old age people are also, when they become old also, the Kalaja immunity will be affecting, or it will be going less. Then due to the seasonal changes happening, that is also coming under Kalaja and particular season, in rainy season, especially in Kerala, in monsoon season, so many infections are happening. Or, as per the change of the weather, the type of viruses and the infections will be changing. On certain time of the year, you may get more rheumatic complaints. You may get, some sort of, in a cold, dry weather, your neurological problems will increase. So all these types of things will happen, and that is based on Kalaja. Then Yukti Krita, that is, what we call the artificial immunity. So the artificial immunity you can create with medicines or food or whatever, exercise. There are so many things which is mentioned in Ayurveda to activate your Yukti Krita by acquired immunity. That is also a part of Ayurvedic immune system, immune science. Okay, let's go to our next slide, please. So there are certain immunity enhancing factors. First and foremost is the genetic. So how we can prepare ourselves for a healthy child. That is what I was telling you in the beginning. Garbhadanam, giving birth, Garbhadanam. So how we can improve our power. Each and every individual has that power within themselves. So that has to be enhanced before you go for a child. This is very important. There's a certain, nowadays most of us are seeing that the people are going for marriage at the age of 28 or 29. Then they go, for a family planning for another 3-4 years. They say that so many reasons. They say, I have to get settled, I have to pay my bank loan. By the time you settle everything, you will be 35, 40. Then you go for a child. What will happen? Many times they won't get children. Infertility problem. Because the productivity age is coming down. Depends on the prakriti. There also is involvement of prakriti is there, especially the people working in that conditions in a cold, dry weather and all. The vada aggravates. The vada is responsible for all the movements. The systems will not move in a proper way. So those people may get the more chance. You can see that in the people working in IT industry, the infertility problems compared to other problems, other people, those who are working physically, they will be more healthy, and their infertility problem may not be there that much. I'm just saying an example. There's a chance. I'm not saying everyone it will be the same, but there's a chance. So this is very important. Genetic factors, how to improve your genetic health, gene health. Then nutrition. You have to take food in the proper way. Depends on your prakriti. See, the people say that the protein food is good. Recently, I heard that one lady died. I think an actress died because of keto diet. Too much of use of keto diet. If that doesn't mean that keto diet is bad. For some people, it can become a problem because they are not susceptible for digesting that type of food. So this is very important. Then exercise. Some people, you can say that many of the bodybuilders are dying out of heart attack. Why? If you do too much exertion, exercise is something which creates exertion to your body. If you don't do it in a proper way, you will die out of it. Ayurveda says that Gejam Simha Ivakarshan Bhajan Nadi Vinashyati if you overdo exercise. This is what Ayurveda said those days. If you overdo it, your body will die like a lion attacked by elephant. Saying lion beat an elephant. That doesn't mean that the lion will survive after that. So Ayurveda gives the beautiful example. So we must do carefully. We must choose our exercises carefully and do according to that. Optimistic and cheerful. This is most important thing. We must be optimistic and cheerful. A positive attitude, happiness. We are responsible for our happiness. No one can give you happiness. No medicine can give you happiness. Not any family member can give you happiness. You yourself has to find out the way. There also the involvement of Prakriti is there, the excellence of your mind. Strengthen your mind. Even if you do all these things, there will be accumulation. Ayurveda says at the end of every season, that means after every 2 or 3 months, every 2 months the season will change as per Ayurveda. So that time you have to do for at least a simple way that you can do at your own home, that we can teach you if we do a detailed study of it. So follow the 3 pillars of life. What are the 3 pillars of life? The first and foremost is the food we eat. The second is the proper rest or sleep. The third is proper sexual life. So if I say that, the people may get it out. How a young boy or girl will go for this sexual life, or an old person will go for it. See, this is something, a very wrong concept about sex in our society. Sex doesn't mean that you have to go for an ejaculation process or a coitus. Sex is being connected. That is the most important thing in Ayurveda saying. Being connected. See, when I have traveled in some of the Western countries, I've seen that many people are living alone. I felt they are much happier than we Indians. I know that some of the Western people are also here. So what I have noticed is they enjoy their life in much better way in certain aspects. See, we Indians have a habit of accumulation. We work 24/7 for making money and making all the physical needs in our life. But are we really enjoying it? But the thing which I have noticed in many of the Western countries, they are really enjoying their life better than us, I feel. So here there is something which we have to understand. Sex is not the coitus. Not only that, it's a part of it. I do agree. But being connected. So if you are connect with your child, there is a involvement of sexual relation. So I feel that you can even connect with the nature. If we go to that extent, yes, if I am connect with the nature around, with the plants around me. I know one lady from Bangalore who used to come for treatment with me in our center. She had a beautiful garden. So her passion is she became a florist. So she used to say, I can talk to the plants. If they didn't flower properly, I will talk to them first. All the chaturupayas she used, that is samam, danam, bhedam, dandam, etc. She said, I can really communicate. So that also is part of sex, I feel. So when Ayurveda says about sex, it is not in a small way, it's a broader way. So these are the three pillars of life. Then following the code of conduct in life, we must need some ethics in our life. That code of conduct, we call it sadvrittam in Ayurveda. This is very, very important. It is called achara rasayana, sadvritta, the good context in our life. Then most important thing, if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, they will ask you this question definitely, how is your appetite? So if you don't have proper appetite, whatever medicine we give you, it will become poison for you. It may be amrit, it may be the nectar. But if your body is not capable of digesting it, what is the use? It will become poison in your body. So the most important thing Ayurveda say, take care of your digestion, take care of your appetite. You must do every possible thing to improve and to maintain your appetite, your digestion. The food that we eat, there is a lot of regulations. Ayurveda says if your appetite is not good, if your food is not digesting properly, from there all the problems arise. And if you want to get treatment, if you want to get if you want to come out from the disease also, you need to maintain good digestive fire. When you say the digestive fire, don't think that it is the acid here. It is the total metabolic energy in our body. Each and every cell got the digestive energy. Every cell is doing some sort of digestion and burning of the nutrients and using it for building the body or for doing its function. So this is the digestive energy, appetite. And also you need a mental appetite. You need, you must maintain that appetite for your life also, to enjoy things. That also is coming with the appetite. Okay, so this is the immunity enhancing factors. And now we go to our next slide, please. Then the body-mind balancing. This is something, very amazing subject. To maintain the health and happiness in life, which aspect is more important? Is it physical aspect or mental aspect? Or equally important? I say the mental aspect. Because the mind is a subtle part of our gross body. So if you make a small change in the subtle part, the gross body will change a lot. I will say with an example. You might have seen that the old clocks, which runs with so much of flywheels. There's a very big flywheel, little bit small flywheel, like the old method, old system of clock. So many flywheels are there. When it is running, you try to stop the clock with the big flywheel. If you try to stop it with the big flywheel, it will not stop. It will continue. But even in the small flywheel, just give a blow. Just, your inhalation, a strong exhalation can stop the system. That means in the subtle level, or we can say in your genetic level, even we call in Ayurveda the Bija Bhaga Aveva. That is the name given for the genetic aspect of our body those days. Bija Bhaga Aveva. So if there is some small changes happens in that system, the whole system will collapse. So if you want to change anything, go to the subtle level. I'm not saying it is easy. We can start from the gross level and go to the subtle level. That also is possible. But if we are capable to go to the subtle level, there you can make a wonderful change. So in Ayurveda, we say if you do a constant training of anything for 21 days, it goes to the subtle level and can change the whole system. Anything you can change. As per Ayurveda, I am responsible for my life. It is not someone sitting outside. In Ayurveda, the concept of God is very different. And we say that it is me who is responsible. So Ayurveda developed a good system, a good what you call regimens to maintain this healthy way of life from morning to evening. That's called dinacharya. If you get an opportunity, we can discuss it later. So dinacharya. Then as per the season, Ritucharya, Aharacharya, Ratricharya. So everything is charya means a cycle. Everything is cyclic in our life. So it's going continuing in that cycle. Evam pravartidam chakram. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, everything is chakrika, cyclic. So Arjuna, you have to understand the chakrika, the chakra, and follow the chakra. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So it is the body-mind balancing. Then disturbances in the constitution effects of the energy. So as I told you, the energy is the subtle part of our body. The Vata, Pitta and Kapha are the subtle forces which can influence our body. So the mind also plays a critical role in our overall health. Mental toxins and unresolved emotions can lead to disease. We know it. The modern science now say that about 70% of our problems are psychosomatic disorders. I'm not saying about the infectious diseases. All the metabolic disorders, metabolic changes happens are psychosomatic by origin. It's more psycho or more mental in the present age. That is very, very clear. So we must learn how to live with a positive mind and improve our mental health. The body-mind balancing requires understanding of how Vata, Pitta and Kapha work together. This is very, very important. How these forces influence your mind. If we know about the Prakriti, I can say by all my years of understanding and my studies and experience, now I can understand even a small change happens in my mind. Any mental disturbance definitely influence my Agni. You might also have seen that if there is any problem happens in your office, your appetite will be less. It immediately reflects in your digestive system. If appetite is less, you go home and sometimes you eat food. You may eat in front of TV and you don't know what you are eating. That is another reason. When you eat the food, nutrition is not only eating food. It is the way of eating food also is important. Ayurveda has a very specific plan how to eat food, when to eat food, what to eat. See, there are so many things is very much important. We are not saying based on the nutritional, the amount of proteins or vitamins or carbohydrates. Okay, that also is having certain importance. I do agree that. But apart from that, even if you eat amrita, the nectar, in an improper way, it will become poison. So this is very, very important to understand about our body-mind balancing. Shall we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so with this, I would like to conclude our today's session with the tradition what Chippy was introducing me about Marma Yogi. It's a tradition. Okay, this is not a normal Ayurveda center. We practice certain principles in our tradition. We are getting people now from all across the world because of this particular speciality. We focus on Marma Ayurveda. Marma is actually a speciality or specialization in Ayurveda in which we focus to the subtle energy in our body. That is called Marma or Prana. So based on that, if we do the treatments in a certain level, it helps to maintain the health or to recover from your disease much faster and much efficient way, and also to maintain your health. That also is important. After you got treated, you are cleared, and if it comes back after 1 month, then the treatment, as for Ayurveda, is not a success. You're getting it back. So we must strengthen, because due to a disease, your body immunity will definitely go down. So after the treatment, after the disease over, you have to do every possible thing to regain your immunity. We call it rasayana. That also is very important. Bring back to the normalcy. So that is one aspect. Then it's a tradition in our family for more than 250 years. So we are doing it as a passion. It's my kula dharma. I am proud to say I belongs to a family of this Marma Yogi. Marma Yoga is a tradition. So I always say to my family members, see, this is something we are gifted to serve the people. To give a proper information, proper knowledge. We say that the marma is in the tip of the tongue. That means if we understand, if you communicate properly, that actually helps to heal. No doctor can, heal you. Whatever system you follow, no doctors, no medicines can heal you. Only your body has to heal by itself. We can give you medicines, we can give you some regimens, we can teach you some exercise, so many things we can help you. But the healing has to happen within our own body. So we must know about our body and our system. Then only we can do the proper treatments and proper regimens. So don't follow blindly any. This is very very wrong way of practicing now. Actually, the reason for this meeting here, because my friend Sini told me, nowadays everybody is following some sort of exercise, some sort of blindly. So if you follow anything blindly, it can cause a lot of damage than good. You go to Google, you can see n number of things. If you start following all that, what will be the result? This is what happens in many people. It is affecting very badly their health. So please, this is my request. The reason, if you understood this concept of prakriti, I will be blessed, because that is the basic of human life and system. Shall we go to our next slide? And a little bit more about our center. We are specialized for the treatments of back and neck pain, and which is mostly chronic. We get it in a very chronic stage normally. And arthritic, there are different types of arthritis, inflammation to the joints, different reasons. Then nerve-related problems, that is one of the common thing nowadays. Any stress which happens in our body affects the nerves. Many of the autoimmune diseases affects the nervous system, and that ends up in different types of neurological problems and sleep disorders. This is another major reason. I know many people are sleeping with the sleeping tablets, especially people from the big cities. I don't know why, maybe the fast lifestyle and all. Recently, I got a patient about 35 or 40 years of age. So my suggestion to them, to that particular lady for the treatment for the insomnia, go back to your husband's home, because they are living separately for more than 2 or 3 years now, due to the lockdown and what you call the all these problems, because he's working somewhere outside and she's in Kerala. So what is the solution? Be together. That comfort she is lacking, that confidence she is lacking. When she closes her eyes, she think about so many other aspects. She's having that problem. What is the use of giving some medicine for it? Of course, you can make her sleep by some sedation. Temporarily it will work, but for how many days you can give? So what is the solution? To be with the husband for some days and come back. She's perfectly all right now. That is my experience. So if we really understood the reason for that insomnia or sleep disorder, we have to clear that. So this is what Ayurveda, in Marma Ayurveda, we try to go to the depth to understand the real reason for that problem. Then, of course, most of the lifestyle disorders starts with obesity. Our food and lifestyle and many things we have to correct. That we have a special program for that lifestyle correcting programs. Then panchakarma treatments. When we say panchakarma, most of the people think it is something like some putting some oil or doing some dhara or something like that. It has nothing to do with panchakarma. The panchakarma means 5 cleansing therapies, which is cleaning the upper part of the body using the nasal orifice, cleaning the stomach and chest region by using the upper orifice through the mouth. Then the stomach and the small intestine and the area around the liver, pancreas and all to be cleaned with the purgation therapy. Then comes the large intestine and the rectum anus region to be treated with the vasti. And one more is the Rekta Moksha, that is cleaning the bloodletting or doing. That's one school of thought, says that also is part of Panchakarma. These are the Panchakarma therapies, and we do it in a systematic way. Then another common problem what we are treating here is the headache. It is mentioned as migraine, but not only the migraine, different types of headaches we are having. We are getting good results in our traditional treatments. So these are some of the, and many more chronic diseases like diabetic related problems, diabetic neuropathy, diabetic ulcers, so many things we are getting good treatments. So, but basically we go into the depth, into the subtle level of marma or prana. That is our specialty compared to the Ayurveda centers. This is our specialty. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? Here we have a great plan for all of you. See, in future, if some of you are interested, you can contact us for this. Now, we help you to understand the proper lifestyle based on your prakriti, and we can organize some programs like this in a very systematic way to understand about lifestyle, food habits based on prakriti. This is the most basic thing. The second thing is immunity and agni, the metabolism, and how it is connected to the immune system. Then another more thing is the fourfolded pursuits of life, which I have mentioned in the beginning, the 4 things which we have to, satisfy, fulfill in our life, and how Ayurveda can help for it. Ayurveda starts with that. The first, the teachings of Ayurveda is talking about how to achieve, how to live fullest, how to enjoy your life to the full, how to enjoy, how to live in each stage of our life. So it is not if you give some toys to a child or some sweet to a child at the age of 4 or 5, he will be happy. But now, if you give you some sweets or some toys, do you feel that enjoyment? Do you feel that excitement in life? Definitely no. Correct. So what shall we do in different stages in our life? That is very, very important, right? So Ayurveda will give you an idea how to enjoy your life in different stages of your life. From the time you born till you die, the last thing is that somebody else will do. They will take you to the funeral ground. Okay, the last one. Till then, we have to do each and every stages to the fullest, to enjoy it to the fullest. Based on prakriti, based on so many factors, we have to organize it. So I am responsible for my happiness. No one else can give you happiness. Maybe they can support you in many ways. That I do agree, but basically, this is a science based on myself. I am responsible. So with this, I would like to conclude by giving you a lot of thanks for attending our program today. And I have taken, I think, about 1 hour, 20 minutes. Thank you very much for attending today's program. And I am grateful for Sini and family and all her friends to organize this program. And I am thanking you from my deep of my heart for coming for this program and making this as a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. It was a great session. I would just request all the participants, if you're comfortable, you can please come on video. And it is question and answer time. So, if you have any questions, you can please unmute and ask questions. Or Zoom has a chat window, so you can type your questions on the chat window too. Any questions?
Hello, madam.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm calling from Chennai, and basically I'm a 62 years old lady, and I have my son. He's 29 years, but he is having this problem of obesity, and the doctor has explained so well. I regret why we had not attended such a course in my early days to live a very fulfilled life. Anyhow, having come to know about him right now, I feel I will be very much grateful if I come to know some kind of a relief for my son. And days ahead, I'm sure if he follows the kind of instructions and the treatment or the lifestyle modifications that he may be suggesting, will be very helpful to him.
Thank you, madam, for asking this question. I know many people will be having some sort of such sort of doubts. Obesity is, as per Ayurveda, it's a disease. There are so many reasons for developing that disease. One of the main thing is, the improper agni, we say. You might have seen that some people, whatever they eat, how much they eat, they will remain very lean. But some people, even by drinking water, they will become obese. So, what is the reason for it? As per Ayurveda, it is all connected to the agni, the digestion or digestive capacity of the person. So, if you understand, if we are able to analyze this agni factor or the metabolic fire, then we can choose the food and lifestyle which is good for that particular person. So, I would request, I think Usha madam asked this question. to have a one-to-one consultation. You can get my phone number, which is given in the chat box, or maybe you can ask Simi or organizers.
Yes,
I can give right now. With that, we will be able to analyze. Sometimes, obesity is not an issue. If that person belongs to a category of kapha or kapha predominant thing, if we analyze it, then we can say that maybe it is not a problem for him. So reducing weight is not a criteria at all.
Right.
Be healthy is the criteria.
Right.
So obesity, if a person is a little heavy in the weight, that doesn't mean that he is obese, as per Ayurveda. Okay. Maybe different opinions will be there, but Ayurveda gives more important for the health and the immunity and the agni of the person. Okay, so being a little bit heavy or a little bit more weight, normally we compare it with the height and weight, but that will be different for different people. So that is
not. Thank you so much, doctor. I will come back to you as you have suggested. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Manoj, there is a question from Satwanti. She is asking, what should we do during this pandemic period such that we keep ourselves safe and healthy?
Madam Satwanti, what is pandemic as per Ayurveda? We call it Janapadodvamsam. Janapadodvamsam means, what is the reason which is mentioned in Ayurveda is our improper dharma. That means physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, and also socially, and also to the nature. The most important thing as per Ayurveda to keep or to protect the nature, the Prakriti. The Prakriti is not only inside Prakriti, but also the outside Prakriti. So if I understand my Prakriti, I can choose my food habits. I can choose my exercise. I can choose my lifestyle. I can choose my leisure time. I can choose my every aspects of our life that helps to maintain the immunity in your system. Not by taking the vaccines alone. See, there will be millions of viruses and bacteria around you. If you take a vaccine for one particular virus, there will be more variants also nowadays coming. Delta virus, Theta virus, so many viruses, so many mutants are also coming. So that is not going to help you permanently. So to understand the Prakriti and live accordingly is the only enhancing treatments or medicines or food or exercise. We must understand, each one must understand what is needed for me, what is my genotype, and based on that we can improve our life, and that is the only way we can overcome this pandemic.
There is another question also, how feasible it is for people to follow Ayurveda with their lifestyle. It is generally believed that Ayurveda puts many restrictions on food. What's your experience on that?
Very good question. I am Pitta by nature. If I take alcohol, I cannot sleep. So that's a restriction for me. If I didn't do it, I have to face the consequence of it. Very simple. So if I know my Prakriti, I have to choose food and lifestyle according to that. It is not restriction. It is some sort of understanding. For a Vata predominant person, the body will be very dry. So if he exposes himself to a cold, dry weather, his Vata related problems will aggravate. So he has to take proper precautions. When we cannot live always inside in a different atmosphere. We have to go out and work. So he has to take proper care. Similarly, if I understood my constitution, I have to change. I have to make some adjustments, or I have to make proper precautions. That's all. It is not restriction. It is a way of understanding and live according to that. It is Patyam means, in Ayurveda, what they call the restriction is called Patyam. Patyam means Padishu Hidam. What is good for that particular person at that particular time and that particular state. That is what Patyam means. If it is, people say that alcohol is poison. I say that in Ayurveda, in what I believe or what I practice, Ayurveda is alcohol is a medicine. So if I know how to use the medicine, will you drink medicine anytime or as you like? There's a particular dose, right? A particular time, right? Similarly, if you use alcohol in a proper way, it will become amrita. That is what Ayurveda says. It is equivalent to nectar. That is what it is said, if you know how to use it. So nothing is, good and nothing is bad for everyone. So we must learn as per, it's an understanding. It is a way of life, it is not a restriction at all. So it is possible for everyone. There is no problem for practicing Ayurveda or living according to Ayurveda. If you realize it, if you understand that. Is that clear?
Doctor, I have one query.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Doctor, can I, given that pandemic is there, so like I am based in Bangalore, is there something online I can get with your team? Can I, so in terms of consultation or whatever, can I do it online or do I have to necessarily come to your clinic only to get your services?
Online consultation facility. Please go to our website, that is www.marmiyogi.com. There you can see an online consultation form, and with that you can, I put my website in the chat box.
Thanks, doctor. Thank you very much.
Doctor, one more question which is coming out is that what about fasting? Is there any specification you want to talk about fasting?
A very good question, madam. See, nowadays fasting is a fashion, I say. Many people do fasting. There there are different types of fasting, intermittent fasting, then, so many new names are coming. Of course, Upavasa is a part of Ayurveda. It's a part of detoxification therapy mentioned in Ayurveda. But definitely, it should be based on your prakriti again. A kapha predominant person or kapha predominant disease, you have to do a fasting without much food. That person will be capable of, overcoming the difficulties which can arise due to that. And a kapha predominant disease, we analyze it, or kapha predominant condition. So for such people, maybe drinking water or even without water is okay. They can take it. But the same thing, if a pitta person will do, definitely it affects his health. Because for a pitta person, they should not do that sort of fasting. They must learn how to do the fasting. See, for a pitta predominant person, they have to eat food in a very light and easily digestible type of food. They have to eat and observe fasting with that. Fasting is not completely avoiding food. And for a vata predominant person, they have to definitely take water or something fluid. And they have to do according. There is a specific method mentioned in Ayurveda, how to take fasting according to the prakriti and the condition. Some people require complete avoiding food. Some people have to fast on water, or some people have to fast on soups or some sort of things like that. So there are different methods definitely mentioned, and it's a very good question. Before going for fasting, you must understand about your prakriti, and based on that, we can give you suggestions on it. Okay?
Thank you, Doctor. It's already 8:31. We can take one last question.
So I think Nisha is asking about any connection between acupuncture and
Hello.
Okay, shall I go ahead?
Am I audible?
Yes, Veena, you are. Veena, you can go ahead. I thought it was Veena.
So, acupuncture or marma therapy. See, there are some similarities on it. When we study the history of this, in different parts of the world, the health is being taught, or people started learning. And those days, there is no need for any visa, you see. The people used to interact with each other. So this acupuncture, acupressure, and these sort of things connected to marma is very much similar to that, might have been developed in either in the southern part of India or somewhere in China. We don't know exactly where it is developed in that part. Because when we look into the history of Shaolin school, the martial arts school, you can see that the first one was Bodhidharma. The Bodhidharma was a South Indian, a Tamil king from the Pallava dynasty. So maybe it is more connected with the martial art, and it became a part of Ayurveda and this in the later period. So might have been, either it is gone from India to China or from China to India, we don't know. But the first, the martial arts school, one of the famous is Shaolin school, started by a Bodhidharma. When we study the history, that's what we have seen. So definitely there is a connection between acupuncture therapy and marma therapy. Similarities are there. Maybe the principles and the acupressure points and the techniques and all will be different. But in Ayurveda, we say it is in marma therapy, we say the flow of prana. And I think in acupuncture, they say the flow of chi energy or something like that. I don't know exactly what the other principles are. But basically, both talks about the energy. And by activating certain vital energy points, in marma therapy, we try to balance the function of that particular organ or that particular function. So that is how we work on marma therapy. I think acupuncture also have some sort of, I don't know much about it, so I'm not a person to talk about it, but there is some connections, I feel.
Thank you, Doctor. I think it's already 8:34. So thanks all the participants for all the wonderful questions. So let me just request Uma Menon just to share the thank you note. Over to you, Uma.
Hello, everyone. Sini is actually having a very bad throat. So on behalf of Sini and on behalf of Sajiva and also on behalf of everyone present here, Dr. Manoj, thank you so much for such an insightful and informative session. I mean, a topic like Ayurveda, it's such a vast topic, and to give us a presentation with all the most important tenets of it in 1 hour was just wonderful. I think this last 1.5 years, all of us present here, I mean, worldwide, everybody is trying to go in a direction, take that journey inwards, adopt better practices for a more holistic living, and focus on wellness. But as you rightly pointed out, we might all be probably blindly following a lot of things and missing out on what is more important. The things that you mentioned today, like the prakriti, the basic composition, for example, such pieces of guidance, such an information is what would probably optimize all the good things that we are doing. And for that reason, I'm extremely grateful, like all of us here, for such a wonderful session. And I do hope that going forward, we can have a more detailed session from you in some forum or the other. You mentioned about body-mind balance, and this is where Sajiva comes in. The last 2 years, Sajiva has been doing such a wonderful work in improving mental health, providing the guidance that a person needs for a holistic living, providing any support anybody might need. Sajiva has provided forums for people to come together, connect with each other, support each other. And in the last 1 year, so many well-crafted sessions have helped us adapt to this new normal. And I hope Sajiva going forward also will come up with such sessions. So here is thanking Sini and Sajiva and Dr. Manoj and wishing all of you the very best for more such sessions that we can benefit from. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I think we can wind up the session now. Anything more, Sini? Thank you everyone for participating in this session, and thank you, Dr. Manoj, once again. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, Sini. I hope you know me. I understand you cannot speak.
Yeah, my voice is
No problem. Manoj is a good friend of mine. Dr. Manoj is a very good friend of mine. Dr. Sini is my schoolmate.
Okay.
So good session, Doctor. Great going. All the best. See you. Bye, Sini. Bye, Doctor.